Funding for Arts in Context is provided in part by an award from the National Endowment for the Arts.
A pair of birds came with the house, the sale of the house. And that was Goosey and Lucy. And during the spring, they laid me some beautiful goose eggs. From there on, I was hooked. So now I have approximately, probably 180 birds. They all have names. They have their own personalities, and you can get your inspiration from them.
I don't do too much talking these days. These days I seem to think a lot about the things that I forgot to do. And all the times I had the chance to.
You can have a good day that basically nothing can go wrong. Everything fits. You don't have to recut. It just goes together real good. And then you can have days that you've planned out the egg on paper, have it all measured out, and not a single thing goes right with it.
How all the changes came about my way. And
there's a lot more to learn. I think you learn every day. Even if you take something as simple as working with polymer clay and putting it on an egg, there's lessons that you learn. The weather has a lot to do with it. So you can have one egg turn out real good one day and the weather be changing and it won't be so great the next day.
I don't think I risk another these days.
If you're doing a filigree, it's freestyle. So basically, you can draw on your egg with a pencil. Or if you're good enough, you don't have to do that. You can just freehand it and go. Basically, you're using a tool that goes 400,000 RPMs a minute. And you just start carving. You do what you want. I've been working on doing eggs approximately 9 years. I guess where I want to go with it is that people are aware that it's an art form, that it's unique, that you can take a simple egg, perfect in form, and create an art piece from it. You can do anything.
Don't confront me with my failures. I had not forgotten them.
The problem is that there are no tailors today. To be a good tailor, it takes a young person 6 years of apprenticeship to become a tailor. Today you could become a computer operator in much shorter time and make more money. My name is Martin Greenfield. If you want to know about me, I got here in 1947 on September to America. I started here as a floor boy, which means you have to make sure that you hand the right work for the right tailor. The fact that I had some experience in concentration camp, worked in a workroom for a while. They thought I was a tailor. I wasn't a tailor. When they discovered me after the concentration camp in Germany, an uncle found out that I was alive. So he got me the job at 3G Clothes, the company that I own today. I take care of a lot of people who want to wear good clothes. Everybody is a perfect person. There are no two people alike that you'll meet in your lifetime that are perfectly matched. Even if they're natural twins, you'll find differences between them. So if he's got a right shoulder low or he's got a left shoulder low, does he think he's a cripple? Does he have a belly? Some have bellies. I have to make you a suit to fit you. If I see a guy who's got a shoulder this low, I could fit him. But then he'll walk on the street and somebody will walk over, boy, this suit fits perfect. Who made your suit? Why? Because if you walk like this, I want him to walk like this. That even if I want to pick this shoulder up so I could make him even. And I'll suggest it to him and he'll let me do that. Through my business, I have great connections in Washington. Every department you mention, I know them. Why? Because of what I do. And then I met Clinton the first time. He had just had his first news conference, and he was a little bit late. It was supposed to be an hour window. He spent with me the whole afternoon. I went through the closets, I went through what he should wear. He didn't bring much from Arkansas because he liked casual stuff. He liked warm-up suits. He only had a couple of suits, which I didn't care for anyway. So, Mr. President, this is the White House, and you're on television every day, so you have to be dressed right. Because you see, Mr. President, there isn't a person who makes clothing in the world that wouldn't give his right arm to be where I am. But if you don't do it right, you could ruin my reputation. To make a ready-made suit, that takes like 108 operation. So you teach a person one operation, and if the person is very skilled, go step 2, go step 3. The skills are one thing, but we do have some great people working here. I have some people work here for 40 years. I mean, they retire, they come back, they retire, they come back, because I encourage them to work because it's better. You know, people's lifetimes change. I remember years ago, people retired exactly young and they didn't live long. And maybe I live longer because I work hard, I don't know. We are blessed with other countries, with immigrants that come here, from the South American countries, from Mexico, from Puerto Rico, from Poland, from Vietnam, from China. You want to find the United Nations mixture, you come to our factory. Most companies wouldn't hire families or friends or husbands and wives, or if something happens, you have 2, 3 people out the same day. Somebody dies, somebody this. That means you lose, instead of 1 person, you lose 2, 3. I overpass. I have my own style. I hire. If you didn't have work ethics and discipline, you wouldn't be here. And the other thing is, if I didn't have a father like I had, I wouldn't be here either. You see, because I lost my family. And I came alone. And when you come alone, you start again, and here I am. Once you want to be in business in a neighborhood, you have to be involved with the community. Because when I bought the business, it was the worst time in America. We were broken in 11 times in this factory. Every time I had to ship my clothing, we came in, there was nothing left. They were stealing the copper from the wires. We would have blackouts because everybody wanted to sell the copper and everything. And there was no protection of any kind because a lot of people ran away, people lost their jobs, they closed up. We never had the supermarkets closed because, you know, the banks closed, they ran away because nobody stayed around. So I said, we're gonna stay here and we're gonna survive here. We started the Vitco, and then we got involved to build affordable houses. We got involved to take care of sick people. We got involved with the senior citizens. I donate suits to them. When you do things for other people and you could afford to do it, it's not money, it's your dedication. Right now, I'm so happy with the Vitco because it's working. We are such a viable entity for the city because instead of having people on welfare, we have people paying taxes. I don't want to think that we saved the neighborhood, but we certainly created a lot of jobs. Life changes. A lot of it is for the better, and some of it is not for the better. So I take those chances. You have to take chances in life.
Something like one of these.
Yeah.
It's finished,
Yes.
painted. Okay? This is a work I can do, and I like. I like this work. And I worked at a time in theater, and I made the masks I used. No? And now there are 3 or 4 mask makers in Venice, and 300 shops that sell masks. Most of the masks are not made in Venice. Are made in Romania, in China, or in little fabrics, little factories. Are made in plastic. And I prefer to continue a tradition. I read a book a lot of time ago, and with the books, yeah, I tried to make. The first mask I made are not so good, but work. Leather mask is a mask for theater because it's very strong. You can use it and sweat. You have no problem for long years. But it's hard to do. To make a good mask, you have to add the leather. You have to have a form. A lot of forms are made on the face of the actor. I take the form of the face of the actor, and then I build the mask on his face, and then I make the mold for the mask, and then with wet leather, I put wet leather on the mold. and with a wooden stick and a horn hammer, I beat. I work on it till the form is. I think the form is perfect. Okay, and I color the mask, and the mask is finished. I think it's important. It's important when a young actor without money comes to me and asks me a mask. This is important because I've been young and the problem were the same. Okay.
As the executive director of the Shumla School, I am involved in developing educational programs that are focused on studying the human use of materials, land, and art. That's where the name comes from. Shumla is an acronym for studying human use of materials, land, and art. So the educational programs that we do here are all designed to help individuals understand more about our cultural heritage here in Texas, the art that the people that lived here thousands of years ago produced, as well as just learning about their lifeways, their belief system, their economy, and how they survived in this very arid landscape. The people that come to Shumla School have come from a wide variety of backgrounds. The adults that come may be professionals that are businessmen in Austin or San Antonio. We've had folks from New York City come, Colorado, really from all over the United States, to learn more about the rock art that we have here and about the people that lived in this region. But we also have students that come from archaeology departments and anthropology departments, geography departments, to gain a better understanding about the history and the geology of the area. The younger students, the 4th grade, for example, we have about 1,500 children that come each year that are coming from the public schools along the border for full-day activities. So we have students that are coming of all ages, from all walks of life. And the things that they're walking away with that I've been told by the students, the young ones, the little children, say that today was the best day of my life because I learned so much. They go through the process of making the paint. They actually break open the bone and get the bone marrow out and mix it with the yucca juice and the mineral pigment, and they make their own rock art. So they have a greater and deeper appreciation for that. The adults that come also have a shift in perspective. Art is viewed in our society so much as something that's done in leisure, something that you do when all the necessary activities of the day are done. And for a long time, that was the same way that the rock art here was viewed, was just leisure time activity. When the hunters and gatherers were done with all the necessary activities, they stopped and they went up into the shelters and they painted the art on the walls. But what we realize now is that it wasn't that way. They were literally making sacrifices of food, taking the food off their plate by sacrificing the bone marrow, for example, to be used as a binder in the paint when that could have served so well as a nutrient. A lot of sacrifice. It's not graffiti. It was a tool that they used to survive, to communicate myths, prescriptions for ritual. All of this information was communicated through that. So the adults that come say that they have a greater appreciation of the arts and realize that even today, perhaps it's not just art for art's sake, but art for life's sake, and that they need to take a greater appreciation and awareness for the importance of art in our lives. What we've been doing is going to rock art sites and doing extensive documentation in the field of various rock art panels. The first one that we went to was a site called Bean Shelter, which is down on the Rio Grande. And at that site, the students do detailed sketches, they do photography, a lot of written descriptions, measurements, and so forth. And then we bring all that information back here, and in the lab we go develop Excel spreadsheets where we're processing the data that we collected, but we're also using Adobe Photoshop to try and tease out some of the imagery that is now obscured because of dust or travertine or whatever deposits are on the walls that obscure the paint. And it's been extremely successful. The beauty of that is that things that we suspected might be there, we can actually determine whether they are or they are not. It's a slow and tedious process, but the students have learned a great deal and have developed techniques to actually pull the imagery out. Once they've done that, we start creating a full panel rendering of the rock art panel using their data plus the data that we have from their field notes and so forth to create an overall copy of the rock art panel. This is extremely important for several different reasons. It takes one act of vandalism to destroy the panel, and although it's been there for all these years, thousands of years, it can be gone overnight. It doesn't even have to be an act of vandalism, just a weather event, flooding and so forth can destroy a panel. So our end product is we have a full panel copy of this rock art that will be preserved forever. My hope is that when individuals come out to Shimla School, when they come here and they have an experience that as they sit under the stars at night and they look up and they realize that it's a blanket of stars that they've never been able to see when they've been in the city. Here we have no lights to obscure our view, so we have the Milky Way from horizon to horizon, that they realize how important it is to have that connection to this environment, to this land, and that they feel that connection again in a way that they've never experienced it before. And it's inevitable if they have that experience that they're going to connect with the people of the past too. And they'll realize that we're all on a journey. We're all on a journey to grow and learn and thrive in this world, but that it's critical that we watch out for and we take care of the land and each other. That this isn't about just me, but it's all of us, and it's about this world that we live in too.
1, 2, 3. Give this stone to my brother, 'cause we found it playing in the barnyard many years ago. Give this bone to my father. He'll remember hunting in the
Funding for Arts in Context is provided in part by an award from the National Endowment for the Arts.